Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
According to a recent report from Redfin, buying a home in the United States has become increasingly costly, with the median home price reaching a record high of $383,725. That is a 5.2% increase from a year ago. And even with super high interest rates, the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, I guess it's because of that, 7.1%, the highest since November 2023. So just think about this. We have super high interest rates, and the cost of housing is continuing to go up as well, pricing people out of this. It's a pretty interesting way to look at the economy. And again, listen to this. The median monthly housing payment right now is $2,843. That is up 13% from the same period last year. Those numbers are terrifying.
Number 6.
Believe it or not, 2 things are happening with the 2024 presidential election, and this is going to shock some of you. 1, polls are tightening. That should surprise nobody. 2, nobody cares. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but listen, the interest in the election is at an all-time low. Now, that's not what my bubble tells me, but maybe that's a bubble. The former president is still leading. Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden. But here's some interesting stuff here. And you're seeing the change in how pollsters are going to do this because we're getting closer to the election. They usually do registered voters. As we get closer, they start talking about likely voters. With registered voters, Joe Biden leading 0.5 percentage points across 8 polls. So the race is tightened very much. But likely voters, 47.3% to 44.7% with Donald Trump in the lead. That's an interesting way of looking at it.
Number 5.
The fight against unions continues in Alabama as the Mercedes plant in Vance will soon see a vote about joining the union take place. And now leaders are fighting back. Are they fighting back effectively? That's a whole other story here. The Labor Secretary, Julie Sue, is telling Alabama and other states to back off. But Speaker of the Alabama State House, Nathaniel Ledbetter, Republican of Rainsville, said this. The UAW business model is simple. Weaponize the workforce, drive up costs, destroy quality, and send the state's auto industry up in smoke. Governor Kay Ivey referred to them as corrupt, shifty, and a dangerous leech. There's a real threat here to how Alabama recruits businesses. Somebody was telling me the other day, look, Asian automakers do not play with unions. You will not get another one here, and you might see one leave the state as well.
Number 4.
United States Senator Katie Britt, Republican out of Montgomery, and others, most sane people, are demanding President Joe Biden, Attorney General Merrick Garland, and Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona take action against the rioters on college campuses. Now, there's a lot they could actually do. She also wants them to protect Jewish students. Look, I'll tell you this much right now. If there were college students on college campuses talking about pushing black students into the sea, this would be being dealt with. There would be no question about it. The group of dozens of United States senators emphasized the need for immediate federal intervention to address the anti-Semitic incidents, saying that such actions violate federal laws and could lead to the consequences such as schools losing access to federal funds or individuals facing deportation for supporting terrorist groups like Hamas. You can't support terrorist groups. That's not free speech.
Number 3.
Not content to just rot the brains of college kids, the left is now targeting little kids now. And this is a phenomenal story, so pay attention. A Queer Storytime for Palestine event took place at the Northampton Center for Arts in Massachusetts. And guess what? There's a drag queen involved, of course. Little Miss Hot Mess led children in chanting Free Palestine. This insane event, or organized by Valley Families for Palestine, but not officially sanctioned by Hamas. I added that part. It included activities celebrating Palestinian culture and donated profits to a Palestinian organization advocating for queer liberation. I mean, if they really want to go in and show these kids what it would be like to live in the territory of the Palestinian Authority and Hamas, they should have cut the head off the drag queen.
Number 2.
Alabama schools have avoided the stupid nonsense up until now. That stupid nonsense taking place on other campuses across the country. But now the University of Alabama at Birmingham, UAB, wants in on the anti-Semitism and brain-dead takes. They've demanded a Palestinian flag be put on a wall where students come from, or shows where students come from, but it's already there. That's how dumb they are. The Student Senate, a worthless organization full of nerds, issued a pathetic resolution that, quote, condemns the ongoing occupation, settler colonialism, apartheid, and ethnic cleansing of Palestinians since 1948, which, of course, is not true, and condemns the plausible genocide of Gaza since 2023. Also, of course, not true. So, good job, guys. You were avoiding all of this. Just go to class. Stop this nonsense.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
Former President Donald Trump's claim of presidential immunity seems unlikely to be successful in total. However, and you know, this is an interesting story here, with delay being the end game, that's going to be a success. But conservative justices on the court posed pointed inquiries to the special counsel's attorney that lined up with Trump's assertion that lacking any form of immunity could lead to politically driven prosecutions against future presidents. Now, he's right, obviously, in all of this, and there's a lot of discussion about what you could do with the president. Well, when he's president, you can impeach him. What about afterwards? Can you just charge him with a crime just because you don't like him and say that, okay, this is a problem we had when he was president, now we're going to get him now? I think you're going to find that things that Trump did while president are going to come under immunity. It's the other stuff that you're going to have to worry about, the classified documents and things like that. Now, you're going to say, well, he's allowed to take those. I understand that. That's not really the issue. The issue is after the fact, what happens there. Now, on other legal issues, an appeal was rejected in the E. Jean Carroll case, and now Trump has to pay the ridiculous $83.3 million to a woman that could not tell a jury the date or location of her alleged sexual assault. So just keep that in mind. A jury said, oh, yeah, pay her. Now, again, civil juries are far different than criminal juries, and I think that it's easier for them to say, yeah, pay the woman. It's much different than taking someone's freedom away, and I think you'll see that it's going to be treated that way when we get before juries and some of these other things. So, and there we go. Those are some of the issues Donald Trump is facing, and those are the 7 things you should be talking about today. If you'd like to weigh in, you can. QC Connect's free speech phone lines, 866-494-WVNN. You can, of course, jump in right there. Or, and you can always do this, you can send us a text, actually 24/7 on the scoutpestcontrol.com WVNN hot take text line. That's one way to get in here as well. And, of course, you can email us, too, at dale@WVNN.com. That's the downtownrescuemission.org email inbox. Of course, you can get in there, too. So we got a lot to get into. We've got questions of the day. It is, of course, a free-for-all Friday. If you could go back in time and change one thing in your life, what would it be? And we've had some interesting answers so far. And don't forget, get your questions in for 10 with them. Because the prophecy is taking over. That's what we're referring to you guys. You guys are the prophecy. Put you guys together. You're the prophecy. They're taking over at 8 o'clock. And so 10 with him is now 10 with them. If you got questions for Emily and JP, they will answer those for you at the end of the program. So we got a lot going on. Let's go ahead and get to it. We'll continue right here on WVNN.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 things you should be talking about today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.